Hello, everyone. This is Kyla from Hidden Gems Literary Emporium, your family owned nonprofit community bookstore. And today we have a very special guest, all the way from, and every time I think of this country, I want to say down under, but Australia, Mr. Ronie Magcamit, who's the author of this book, Reason of Hope 10 Issues a Christian Must Face Today. Very interesting. And this book is available and on display here at Hidden Gems. Um, Everyone who knows Hidden Gems knows that truth is very present in here. So he's okay. He's playing. Thank you, Mr. Ronie, for your time today.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Kayla, for the nice introduction. Not deserving, but yeah, thank you.
Well, I beg to differ. Can we please begin by you introducing
Mm.
yourself and telling us what inspired this book?
Yes, so I work as a civil environmental engineer. I'm based here in Melbourne, Australia, and I think all throughout my career, I've been doing this profession for 20 odd years. And every time I submit a thick report to a client, environmental sciences and everything that goes with it. And I've been a Christian myself for much more than that. And I told myself, hey, if I can submit reports, technical reports to my clients, I haven't even done something for the god I worship. you know Maybe there's something that I can do for him, and that's actually for him, for a selfish reason as well, for my child, really. Because I want her to know what my battles as a person of faith has been all throughout my years since I've accepted Jesus in 1990. It tells me my age, really. So I was trying to get all these bits and pieces of history, my all of my experiences, all of my struggles, and all of my learnings along the way. And I want to tell my child, probably in a in a form, in a very condensed form. Okay, Beatrice, that's my daughter's name. This is what I learned, and I want you to have this. I may not be the richest person in the world, an Elon Musk or someone like that, but this is the treasure that I can really give you. And perhaps maybe there's other people, other kids who maybe or other teenagers or other people who just graduated from the university that may probably get something out of it. So that's really the story where it's coming from. 2019, I decided, hey, maybe it's time to write something. I've been doing this profession. Maybe I can collect all of the things that I've learned all throughout my faith and probably apply it in a simple book like this.
I think that is beautiful. And it reminds me of something that we talk about all the time about, when you write a book or when you publish a book, it becomes a part of literary history. So a lot of times, of course, as parents, everything that we do is for our children. But, you
Mm,
created something that, like you said, can affect other people's children, other people in general, generations from now, people will be able to get this book, and you just never know the impact that you as an author have on people. um
mm,
you just never know. This is permanent. This is a permanent part of history. How'd you
mm.
come up with the title?
Well, it's coming from a particular verse in the Bible, in the New Testament, called First Peter. In First Peter 3:15, it says, "But sanctify the Lord God in your heart, and be ready always to answer any man the reason of the hope that is in you, with meekness and fear." In other words, the first followers of Jesus told his followers that, you know what, you have to defend your faith. If someone asks you, hey, why are you cheerful amidst all of these, gloomy times? Well, I've got very good reasons for my hope. I've got hope. I think there's something right now that we need. Just looking at the news, you're gonna be hopeless instantly. There's like real no trajectory of a bright future, whether it's environmental wise, whether it's social wise, political wise, everything is like going into all these chaos. But I think as a person of faith, I find hope as a beacon, a small beacon of light that really gives me direction, really gives me purpose in life. And that's what I really want to share to others. And right now, I think what the conversation is happening is a lot of people easily shuts down people with different beliefs. I definitely reject that. I mean, come on, let's sit down, let's have a conversation. You know, we may have different beliefs among certain things. Even Christians have different beliefs on certain things, and I definitely know that if someone, you know, reads the book from cover to cover, they will know, I don't believe this, I don't accept it. That's okay, you know. Let's just have a conversation. Let's reason together. I think that's what matters to me. Yeah.
And one thing that came to mind when you uh, answered that question, you were talking about, little things that give you hope or that you see.
Mm.
And, being a parent, our son, his name is Truth, he taught me,
Wow,
yes, truth, like tell the truth.
that's a wonderful name. Yeah.
Thank you. Um, he taught me to find beauty and hope in just the littlest things. I mean, when he when he was outside, he would pick up the littlest leaf and say, "Mama,
Mm.
leaf." Or just the little, even now
Right.
he'll point to the smallest little bug, the butterfly, bug, or bee in the small things that children appreciate. And
That's it.
it taught me to, it reminded me to humble myself and say, look, we are all of his creation. And so, and our family,
Amen.
we refer to him by his Hebrew name of Yahweh. And so, and
Oh wow.
he would, our son and just children in general, and you as a parent know that even just the birth, being pregnant and the birthing process and becoming a parent, and it's like, so you're right, so many dark things are happening
Mm.
in the world, and if you turn on the TV, you're right, you can see it. But then we
Mm.
have to look at our children and see hope in our children. We have to look at
Oh,
the plants in the window and see hope and growth, and so I love that. I love the um
that's beautiful. That's beautiful, Kayla. When you were mentioning that, remember they're telling us, you stop, smell the roses, because we can be so entrenched with all, the business of life, to make money, to pay the bills, to relationship issues. There's so many things that can really drag you down. But a little child like truth can help us understand that, wait, there's so much more to life than this. And definitely that's the hope that we're trying to get out there. People have hope. The pandemic has brought us so much hopelessness. I think 2 years lockdown and counting. I know in the US, I think you've got different ways of handling it. In Australia, we're all locked down. That's an unfortunate truth on this side of the world. But you know what? We've got hope, and we can still connect with people. We find the positive things out of even desperate situations.
mm, yeah, that's that this is a topic that we tend to talk about a lot with people. There was even one woman who
Mm,
came into the store a couple weeks ago, and she was telling me about how, being in quarantine and isolation was
mm,
depressing her, and how her coming to our little old bookstore was one of the first times that she got out the house, and she was, saying how she felt the love in our environment, and she, picked up a whole bunch of books from independent authors, and she was just happy. And she's saying, community is so important, and we need to reconnect with one another. um
mm.
so yeah, that's a whole conversation. You and I are not going to be talking for 3 hours, okay? It's already been, we were chatting for about an hour before we started recording.
I
Okay,
know, right? Yeah.
I want to talk about the format of this book. And so
Mm-hmm,
I always tell people, even as a child, I loved a good table of contents, and you have a
mm-hmm.
great table of contents. It is just so like, look, it's like an index. And I love that, though. Tell us about your writing process. Did you create
Mm,
index first and then fill it in, or how? What was your process like as you were writing the book?
right, right. So it actually all started with that verse, the one that I mentioned to you. Okay, reason of the hope, reason of the hope. Yeah, I've been a Christian for a while. And whenever someone, a non-believer or an atheist, approach me and ask me a tough question, how do I respond to them? Okay, and then all throughout these experiences, then I actually collated them into, okay, there must be at least 10 issues, okay, 10 topics that at least if I can have a good answer, or some a good response, not a very detailed one, at least something that I can reply back, respond back, and give the questioner something to think about. Right? I'm not claiming to be a great philosopher, a great scientist, nothing like that. But I just want to throw the question out there and say that to challenge the challenger on the faith that I have. So basically, that's where I came up with these 10 topics. Okay, I know that the Bible has always been attacked, the reliability of the scripture. Definitely that's one big issue. I also know that even the existence of Jesus has been always been attacked as well. You know, some people didn't think even that, he never really existed. Okay, so probably that's another one that I should include there, and probably uh, other things such as creation, which is I love as a Christian. There's a very big division in that as well. So how do I stand on these major issues? And that's why I came up with those 10 issues. And under those 10 issues, I know that there's always a Bible verse actually that actually supports it very well. So I chose all those 366 verses and put it under those 10 topics. And then under those verses, I try to think of of an experience of mine, of a good quote from another book, or an internet search or something like that, and then just put them all together. So it took me around 7 months to really come up with a process. So really started probably the first 2 weeks just looking at the framework itself, and then from then on, it's like it's now a smooth flowing process for me, because I've got this verse. What can I relate to this verse? Okay, I'm gonna think of some experiences in the past, or just a thought or a philosophy that I've read. So that's really how the process came in. Yeah.
I love that. And I love how you can tell just flipping through the book how much time and attention and detail you put into it, and it seemed as though you really wanted to give an informative presentation to the reader. And another thing that I love is, so as you were talking, I was just glancing through,
Mm, mm.
well, table of contents, but I'll call it the index. It reminds me of an index. Um, and my eyes glanced to 6.1, where you talk about wars caused by religion. And so
Right.
that section is quite interesting to me because Raymond and I, we love history. We think history is very important.
Mm,
And we always tell people when they're reading a book, no matter what genre it is, pay attention to things that are in capital letters, because it can lead you down a path of research and further exploration and education and things like that. So this
mm,
section caught my eye because I think
mm,
it's one of those things. I mean, Christian Crusaders, or
mm,
anything in here you could Google War of Capel, which is something that I've never heard of before. Um,
mhm. It's a
so
it's a Protestant versus Catholic wars.
wow.
That's something that happened in the past. I'm a bit of a historical junkie myself. Whenever I try to write something, I try to prove it with some facts, so it's more palatable to
Uh-huh.
someone who's more into research kind of
Right.
things. But again, it's not an in-depth one. It's
Hmm.
really all just the minor details.
Right.
But yeah, when you talk about wars caused by religion, some of the yeah, it reminds me, okay, there's this one person who just made a statement that, you know what, I'm never gonna be a believer because all you believers are, you're the cause of many wars in the past. It's a very profound statement, and part of it is definitely true. A lot of wars actually came from, wars of beliefs, wars of faith. That's why I listed some of the wars against the Catholics and the Protestants, and even those times in the 1500s, when the Protestant movement was coming out, they were persecuted severely by the Roman Catholic, kings of those days. So it is a reality. But it says there, I remember one apologist saying, you cannot blame the Beatles if the Beatles impersonator did their performance very poorly. I mean, if the God of the Bible is saying to us that, love, peace, joy, everything that is good in this world, we should follow it. But if the war that is caused by human, you cannot blame God for that war, because we humans are the ones who caused it. It's really a matter of perspective, in a way. I think it's always, I always remember this person saying, we always blame God for everything that happens wrong. It's always easy to blame him. We easily slap his face while we're on his, lap. He has given everything to us, but something gets wrong. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Knowing that we're actually the ones causing all the harm. So just one, but thank you for choosing that part, because yeah, I really love the fact that, whenever I'm being questioned with my faith, it's always good to step back and realize, hey, have we thought about this? Have you thought about your position as well? Have you thought about, other things involved in that process? So yeah.
We always tell people, especially young people, that um everything that happens in our life is a consequence of the choice that we make. And so, even
Exactly.
you and I, when we were trying to get this together, we could have got mad because, oh,
Yeah.
or when my son dropped the jar on the floor and I said, oh, you know what, Ronnie, I gotta do
Yeah.
this later. I gotta talk to you. I gotta go. But we didn't. We chose to just keep on going
Yeah.
and keep on going.
Keep
And
on
then
going.
that's right. Here we are now. And then so I also just flipped open to 1.18, which says, what is true? As you
Oh, right. Ooh,
um,
what a question, right? In a
yes,
post-truth era, Kayla,
right.
even truth is questionable today.
Mm,
Because if people are relativists now, you can have your truth and I can have my truth, right? And this is pretty much what's happening mostly in the Western world. In many countries, like where I came from, the Philippines, I think we still believe in some truth, but of course, it's very relativistic as well in many forms. But I guess when you say that, now we're living in an age where anybody can have his or her truth, how how dangerous can that be? Can you imagine NASA scientists telling that to their engineers? Okay, you just go with your numbers, and he's going to go with her number. It doesn't follow, right? It's logically not possible. There's only one truth. There's only one possible truth. And I think that's something that I think it always needs to be at the start of any book. Okay, let's decide, let's agree first that there is truth. Because if there's no truth out there, then let's just have pizza outside, because we're not going anywhere. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of that one.
my father, when we were young, he used to always say, there's always three sides to every story. There's your side, there's my
Mm,
side, and then there's the truth. Like the truth is
mm,
happened. And you
that's
can't
it.
you can't refute the truth because it is what it is and it is what happened. It's not an opinion, it's fact. Truth is fact. Like one plus
Mm,
one is two. That is true.
yeah. Mm, mm. And they said that, yeah, it's easy to accept the truth that we like. That's true. But if we don't like it, then yeah, we sometimes create another version of that truth so that it applies to our behavior,
Mm,
to our liking. You
right,
know,
right.
truth, like, it's not a buffet. You just cannot pick and choose what you want. Whether it's the truth hurts sometimes, it will convict you sometimes. But the thing is, it's still truth. It will stay that way whether you like it or not.
And they say the truth will set you free. Like whether it feels good, they say the truth will set you free.
Mm,
And
that's
these are all
absolutely true.
reasons why we these are all reasons why we named our son of this value, because we want him to, when he's on the playground or out in this world or older, to remember, look, my name is truth. I'm always, I cannot tell a
Wow.
lie, and I do not want
Wow.
to. I want to live with integrity and honesty, and do right by people and do what is truthful, and we want
Mm.
all of our children will have the first name of a virtue. Hope is a beautiful name for a
Oh,
little
it's a
girl or a
beautiful
boy,
name. Yes, it is a
and
beautiful name.
it's a constant reminder. And we actually know a Hope, the vice president of an elementary school down the street. Her name is Hope. And when I met
All
her, I
right.
said, you know, I was like, I love when you call me, because it's like, oh, Hope's on the phone. How you doing, Hope? It's just like a constant reminder. We know another person in the education realm out here whose name is Patience, and I love when she
Oh,
calls me,
wow.
because yes, I'm like, oh yes, Patience is calling me. I need to talk
We
to
need that.
you. Yeah. Um. So yeah. So that's that. Um. One more thing about the book. Well, I always say one more
Mm.
thing, then I think about
Yeah,
something
yeah.
else. And I asked this question to another author, and his response was,
Hmm.
"That's like asking me if I have a favorite child." But I'm
Uh,
like,
uh,
what do you have a chapter or a section? Maybe that's not your favorite, but that you
mhm.
feel like would stands out, or
Yeah.
would stand out among readers. What part of this book do you think that is?
Well, since you took away already the clause that you're not gonna make me choose among my children, and you bound my hands at the back, I'll have to put it at the last chapter of the book, which is Return of the King. Why? Because I always believe that if there's anything that you can write, the last part will be the most important one. If there's like, for example, we're gonna be you know we're gonna leave a loved one, we're gonna leave our people behind, what will be the last thing that you want them to remember? And I think it should be always the last part. Return of the King is the last chapter, where it's actually really the cherry on the top of why I believe that there is still hope, why is there still something to look forward to. Why? Because I believe that the God that I serve, the God that I believe in, is coming back again. That's what I really hold on to, despite all the negativities of this world, despite all the wars and the rumors of wars, despite all this pandemic. I know that someone is still in charge, and he's coming back for the people that still believes in him. And I love that part. So yeah, for me, that pumps me up every morning. I know you're coming, and I'm gonna do my best to do what I can for today. I'm gonna be a positive influence to others as best as I can. Why? Because I know you're coming. Someone is coming back.
And I love books that where the title is kind of like a calling or a reminder, and the cover is really beautiful, and it's very
I love Book Trail. Did a very good job on that one. Yeah.
it's very beautiful, and it's very it catches your eye when it's on the table.
Oh.
And the title is just, it's a state, that's what I'm trying to say. The title is a statement that stands out,
Mm.
reason of the hope, reasons for hope. and then it
mm,
puts you on this trail of thought. Reasons for hope. Why we're
mm,
hopeful. Reasons for hope. Um. So yeah, and then it just gets you on this train of thought. Question:
mm.
Are you going to write another book in the future?
Yes. Actually, Kayla, I a spill from that book is actually called this one, Defending My Faith. But this one is actually Defending My Faith is a certain chapter in this Reason of the Hope book, which is chapter seven, 6 and 7. So what I did was I took out chapter 6 and chapter 7 of Reason of the Hope, Defending My Faith, and then I added more details to it. Because if, say, for example, this Defending My Faith is something that is really, really targeting an audience of non-believers, of secular people, and especially those young people from universities, fresh from universities, that's really going out there and have no idea what to believe. I heard of statistics once that any any child from a Christian family, when he goes or she goes to a liberal university, there is 75% chance that they will become atheistic and secular afterwards. So 75%, that's really high. That really means that if the child is not grounded well enough on the faith, then definitely they will explore uh, the 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 era or the point of view of non-believers, which for me, is not a threat. By the way, I was in my 20s. I explored my faith. I tried to learn other beliefs because I just can't rely on blind faith. For me, blind faith is such a very dangerous word. uh, Faith is a powerful word, but when you put blind faith on it, it becomes such a very bad compromise. And that's what I believe. So the other book that I've written as well is just a spin-off from this book, and my target audience is really the young people that, hey, how come that your doubt is your questions have becoming into doubt, your doubt becomes skepticism, your skepticism becomes cynicism, and then becomes atheism. So it's really a step-by-step process, and I want to address the questioning part. Some of the questions against faith is really, really simple to answer, but mostly our young people is getting their answer from 2 minute posts from a very famous celebrity or a rock star atheist scientist. They get their answers from them. Why not get their own answers from the scriptures themselves, and they'll be satisfied.
Thank you for saying that. And for letting us know. Last question. See, didn't I say that already?
Oh, you did.
Where can people who will maybe they want to make a comment about something that they read,
Mm, mm.
or they want to, maybe have a conversation or give you their opinion on something. What is the
Yes.
best way for people to contact you?
Oh, I would love people to contact me. There's a website for this book as well. It's called reasonofthehope.org. So www.reasonofthehope, just one word, .org. And there's a contact page there. It's really meant for feedbacks. And I love feedbacks. The more I get questions, the more I get comments, the more it inspires me really to know more about the faith that I have, and the more I want to share this information with others. I just want to, share the hope to others. That's really my goal. My simple goal in life is share hope to others, especially in these times that we live in. So, yep, you can contact me, reasonofthehope.org/contact, and there's a page there. You can just, browse through it.
Thank you for saying that. And I think that when you said share hope, that made me think of a hashtag. Hashtag share hope. Like, that's a
Share
t-shirt.
hope.
That's a convention or something. Like that's a movement right there. Share hope or reason of hope.
Yep.
That's a movement. You need to think about that. Oh, let's stop recording so nobody else think. No. Share hope. People need to share hope. You know what? You never know how you could share hope with someone that you don't even know that you meet on the street. You know how you meet someone or you're in line at
That's
the
true.
grocery store and then for
That's
some
true.
reason you just start chit-chatting over a candy bar, and then long story
Mm.
short, you're talking about your life or things that
Yep.
you've been through. It happen to everybody, and you're sharing hope with people. And we tell people all the time, words are placed in your heart for reasons that you might not even know. That person at the grocery store might have needed to be inspired by your story or that 5 minutes or that just that little smile. Maybe there's people who go out in this world or who are at home that don't see another smiling face all day long. And so maybe they're
Mm.
like, let me go to Wawa and get a cup of coffee. And then here we are sharing hope. So
That's it.
thank you
That's the
so
way to
much
go.
for your time. Yeah, that's right. And it's been such a pleasant conversation, and you are just such a pleasant person in general. I want to encourage everyone to come by Hidden Gems Literary Emporium and get their copy of Reason of the Hope, 10 Issues a Christian Must Face Today. And that word is interesting too, must. Um,
Not may, but must.
yeah, not may, but must, yes. And or if you guys give us a call, we'd be happy to ship this to your home. And we love you all for reading. And Mr. Ronnie, on behalf of myself, Raymond, and Truth, we love you for writing this book and for putting clearly much time and attention and love. I just flipped open the Truth's name again. What's it say? Where did this go? Ooh, it says only science brings truth. We talked a little bit about that
Oh,
before. Yeah.
that's right.
This is interesting. There's so many people and places in this book that can take you on a deep dive down the historical research path. And those of us who know history know it's easy to get on that path. You look up one thing and it leads you to another person or another person or another person. And I'm just flipping through and I'm seeing so many things. The people dispersed across the world from Chinar and different languages were created. And Raymond and I were talking about Chinar.
Mm-hmm.
We also study
Interesting.
scripture and we study history and things like that. I got to get you off
Well
here
done.
because we're going to be talking for another hour. Don't
Well done.
Atlas talk about that. Okay. Thank you so
Hey,
much,
Kayla,
sir.
before I let you go, I just want to
Yes.
tell anyone who will see this video that please support Hidden Gems. They do such a marvelous work. And from us here, even though we're in Australia, I'm definitely going to promote what you're doing here. So thank you so much for what you're doing. We need to reach out more people, especially the kids. Take away their gadgets, let them read books. Thank
That's
you for what you're
right.
doing.
Talk about it. Take it away. Take the phones away. You know what? We should do a challenge.
Yeah,
We should do something like that. We should just encourage people to put their phone and everything away, at least for, we'll probably have to start with a day, a whole day. Don't check
that's
any
right.
emails for a whole day. I promise you, you're not going to pass out.
Oh,
You're not going to stop breathing. You're probably
you'll
even breathe a
survive.
little easier. Don't
That's right.
right. Let's think about that. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for saying that. We
Thank you, Kayla. Thank you so
bye bye
much.
now.
Blessings.